Okay folks, a pickling brew. We've got 4 litres of vinegar, around about a cup of sugar, some pickling spice, and around about a cup of, this is rock salt, isn't it?
Yeah, it's from Pakistan.
From Pakistan, yeah, rock salt. It's pink in colour, don't let that worry you. So what we do is we put the liquid into there and put the ingredients in and then bring it up to a boil, is that right?
Yeah, and stainless steel.
And you've got to use, yeah, that's right, you've got to use a stainless steel pot, not aluminium or anything else like that, because the vinegar tends to react with aluminium, whereas it doesn't with stainless steel. So we'll move on with that, and Mrs. Dragon's over here busily peeling the shells off the eggs. So we'll be back in a minute. Okay folks, we've just put all those ingredients into the stainless steel pot on the gas stove. There's no added water, it's just pure 4 litres of vinegar. The pickling spice. Faye was telling me sometimes you can put them in the pickling spice in a cheesecloth bag just to let it permeate through the vinegar. But this is the way she does it. We've also put all of the sugar and the rock salt in there too, so we just bring it up to a boil, and then we go on from there. Okay, back in a sec. Okay folks, I've just peeled all the eggs, all the shell of the eggs. Now what we're doing is putting the eggs in the preserving jars. These are the type we're using at the moment. The lids on them are good because we're using vinegar. Faye has mentioned that you've got to look at the types of lids on them, particularly where vinegar is used. And we're packing around about a dozen hard-boiled shelled eggs into each bottle, each preserving jar. So when it comes time to spoon in the vinegar preservative, the idea is to pour it in there and completely cover the eggs. You can't leave any part of the, particularly the top of the eggs here, exposed. It's got to be completely covered in vinegar, the vinegar solution. So we're just getting ready to, we're just packing them in, ready to go. This solution is going to be a little bit a while yet, so we'll just pack them in, ready to go. Back in a minute. Okay folks, we're just stirring up this solution a bit to make sure that the sugar and salt dissolves properly, and of course you get a better infusion of the preserving spices in the vinegar too. In this case I'm using a stainless steel spoon, and just have a look. Yep, here's the egg, the preserving jars with the eggs in it, about a dozen in each, all ready to go. So when the solution is ready, with the jug, and just pour it into those and make sure the eggs are fully covered. So just waiting for this to come up to the boil, and away we go. Back soon. Okay folks, this has come up to the boil now, and we've got a Pyrex jug in here, and we're just scooping it out of the stainless steel container. Also keep in mind that when this comes up to the boil, it will actually render down a bit, making it more concentrated. And then all we do is just fill up the jar like that. Make sure the eggs are all covered, like that one there.
And cap them straight away.
And cap them straight away. Talking to Faye before, you don't necessarily have to put pickling spices in it if you don't want to. The solution works on the same principle as if you're pickling certain types of vegetables and that sort of, like beetroot. But this just gives it a bit more flavour. And of course, just make sure that when you pack the eggs in here that none of them have ruptured because it'll probably discolour the mixture, and we're not quite sure how it's going to affect the taste of the eggs in there. Now I believe this solution doesn't really taint the eggs. You can't taste the vinegar in it very much.
I can't eat eggs, so I don't know.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not from personal experience, anyway.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think you could wash them off before you ate them.
Wash them off, yeah.
Don't think you can say something about the fridge.
And these have got to be put straight away into a fridge. Is that
For
right?
2 weeks.
For 2 weeks.
Yeah. And that's what they say on the net to do, all the recipes.
So
I think it's because of the protein.
if you live in a colder climate when you're doing this, as in refrigeration cold, you'd probably get away with not refrigerating it.
No,
But this is Australia.
Sit down there. It's hot. Ouch.
Bit hot.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. That was 5 jars of, well, it's 5 dozen eggs. Just another way of preserving eggs. There are many other ways, but these are hard boiled and extends the shelf life. I think probably out to about 6 months or more.
One person on the internet said that theirs kept for 2 years and they're
2
still good
years.
to eat.
2 years, yep, that's good, yep. And Faye's been doing this for a long time, so she's the guru on it. And we've learned a lot today, so alrighty. This is one that Faye did about 5 weeks ago. If you notice on the top there, she's dated it, and also put the ingredients in on the label, what was mixed into the vinegar, in case people have allergies or reactions to certain types of spices or anything like that you use with the pickling spice. So that's a good idea. So that was done about 5 weeks ago. This one's got mustard in it and a bay leaf and the normal vinegar, salt, sugar and salt solution into it. So Faye's just added some different preserving spices in there. So that's a good idea too. So just put on the top, mark the date, and any preserving spices you put in there, just mark it on top of the bottle in case somebody has a reaction to it. Alright folks, see you later. Well folks, after pickling these eggs yesterday, just wet pickling, decided to put it through the American pressure canner last night, just to make sure that any bacterial problems with it significantly reduced, particularly with eggs. As some of you may know, eggs are very vulnerable to all sorts of bacterial problems, and botulism is one of them. So put in a pressure canner last night, and you can see the lids there. They've got a nice concave lid on them, which indicates that that's got a good seal. That's the dimple part there. So when you get these lids new, that's slightly raised. Once you've finished your preserving, let it cool down, tighten the lid. That dimple actually recesses back into the lid, and you know you've got a nice good vacuum seal on these preserving jars. So that's pretty much what it looks like. You can see that the black bits and pieces in there, that's just the preserving spices we used. So these have come up quite good. I've yet to label these with what's in them, but that's the basics of what we did. And Mrs. Dragon is looking forward to trying other types of food, particularly some types of meat, and hopefully some vegetables later on. So that's pretty well it. It's the first time we've used our canner, and raising it to higher temperatures and pressure greatly reduces the risk of bacterial contamination of the food, and henceforth food poisoning. Alright folks, that wraps this up. I'll see you later.